Today we'll start with the RAD model, Rapid Application Development Model. So basically, this RAD model is an incremental model. Basically, this RAD model is an incremental model that emphasizes on extremely short development cycle. So whenever we are dealing with the short development cycle, it's better that we can use this RAD model. Consider that you have projects which are taking a small duration of time to complete your project or to deploy the project. So the development cycle that is from nearly, for example, you can say 60 to 90 days. It is of 60 to 90 days. At that time, we can use this particular RAD model. So if you want to develop a product within this 60 to 90 days, it's better to go for this RAD model for implementing the project or all those steps for communication, planning, modeling, construction, deployment, whatever the SDLC phases we have, we can develop our project using this RAD model. So now, before going into deep into this RAD model, let's first see what are the phases that present in this particular RAD model. So the different phases, starting with the first is the communication. So we know that in communication phase, the customer and the developers, the customer and the business person are interacting with each other. So the customer can give specifications, all those requirements, and which are necessary to develop the product, and customer is giving all those requirements so that further developer can use those requirements and develop the project. So this is what the communication phase. Then after taking these specifications, these requirements, the developer is ready to planning the project. Okay, so the next stage is planning, or you can say not only the developer but also the business person or the business analyst or whatever the project head. All those people are also included in that particular planning phase. Okay, so it includes all those documentation and everything in the form of whatever the user is asking, so that will be placed in the form of documentation. So this planning includes from starting to ending, means the size of your project, the resource that you are going to use, and whatever the maintenance cost, or you can say the bug or error handling cost, whatever is there, that is to be discussed. Then the next one is the modeling phase. So after that planning, the developer is trying to model the project. That is nothing but the modeling. So here, as you can see that the modeling in the RAD model includes different types of modeling: business modeling, data modeling, process modeling, application, just different types of modeling. And after that, there is application generation testing phase. So based on this, this type of modeling can used, or what is the aim of this modeling? To clear cut of your product, to have some clear idea about the project. So this business modeling, data modeling is just like a data objects, you can say, that you are going to use in your project. And this process modeling, you can say the data objects in which they are transformed to implement. Okay, whatever the idea is that we are going to implement into the business function. We'll see the modeling into detail later. After that, the construction phase is there. So in that, we are trying to write the code. Okay, and after that the deployment phase is there. So after everything is done, the product is to be deployed. So whatever model you are taking, whatever the phases you are taking, so every phase will follow this particular thing. Every phase or whatever the project is there, every project using this RAD model is going to follow this particular steps. First you have to communicate with the person, then next you are trying to plan your project, then next modeling phase is there, in which there are different types of modeling: business modeling, data modeling, process modeling, and then construction and deployment. So see, as you can see here, that this is one team. Okay, the team one first go for the business modeling, then data modeling, process modeling. So after taking this specification from the customer and communication planning is done, they will start to model the project, starting with the first team, and each team will be modeling each module. So first they try to build the business modeling of the planning. Next they will do the data modeling, then process modeling. After that, the team one is going to generate the code. That is nothing but the application generation phase, implementation, testing, and then hand over the project to your customer. So this is the team one who is going to do all of these things. Now, same way, whatever your project is, that is going to be divided into multiple teams, and those multiple teams are working on this same strategy. Okay, and after that, all of the things are going to be integrated, and the whole software is going to be delivered to your customer. So first of all, what is this business modeling? What is this each modeling? So in the business modeling, the information flow or the data flow among business function is modeled in a way that answers the questions like what information will drive this business process, what information is to be generated, and who will going to generate those information, and where this information comes from, or where this information is going further. So who is going to process it? So all these things are there in this business modeling. Basically, the information flow or the data flow will come around this business function, and it is modeled in a way that those questions answer we will get. After that, the data modeling phase is there. What is data modeling? So in data modeling, the data is collected from this business modeling, is then refined into a set of data objects, into a set of entities that are needed to support our business. Also the attributes of each object, each entity are defined, and all those relation between all those data objects are going to be defined. Whatever we receive from this business modeling, we will refine it into a set of different data entities, and will consider the relation between those data entities, data objects, and we will first identify those data objects, will then consider their relationship, will identify all those things in this particular data modeling. After that, process modeling. So the data object or the data entity defined in this data modeling phase are transformed to achieve the data flow, the information flow which is necessary to implement your business function. So processing descriptions and all those things are created for adding any data object and data entity, modify, to delete them, whatever, or to retrieve them. So all of the things on those particular data objects on data entity are defined in this process model. So whatever the data object or data entity that you have defined in earlier phase, that is going to be transformed. to achieve a particular data flow, to achieve a particular information flow, which will be further helpful to us to implement our functions, our business functions. After that, there is application generation. So in that, we are going to develop our application. We are going to code for that, and for that, we are the RAD model is also going to use some automated tools to construct your application and all those things. After that, testing and turnover. So in that, testing is done in this RAD model, and it will see in each and every team is going to consider this thing. So your product will be tested thoroughly, and then it is provided to the customer. So this is how the team 1 is working. Same way the team 2 is going through all those phases. After that, team 3, so they are working all those functionality on which they are working. They will go through all these phases. Okay. So whenever the project is there, this they divide this RAD model is working like they divide that all those requirements into teams, and each team is performing their own functionalities, own features, and to implement a particular module. So we can say that this RAD model uses multiple teams on a scalable project, and this demand scalable scope. So for example, if some business application is there and you need to develop it, but you have some time constraint, like you have to develop it within a particular time span, or in a concise time span, say for example only in 60 to 90 days, then you can go for this particular RAD model. So now, what are the disadvantages of this RAD model? See, first, we know that this particular RAD model is going to use these multiple teams on scalable projects like team 1, team 2, and so on. So for large projects, but the scalable projects, RAD obviously requires some sufficient human resources to create the right number of RAD teams. Why? Because that's why we can say that it requires heavy resources, because each team is working on the same project, the team 1, team 2, team 3, and so on. So the manpower has to increase in this particular RAD model, for this particular RAD model. And why we require that manpower? Because we have to submit the project within this 60 to 90 days of time period. So it requires heavy resource, and it requires developers to write the code and doing everything else. Okay. After that, it requires developers and customers. The next thing is who are heavily committed to these rapid fire activities which are necessary to develop a system using this particular time frame, using this particular RAD model methodology. So we need to consider that the developers and customers that should be heavily committed for this particular model. What it means is that you should have a commitment between the customer and the developers. Suppose, say for example, if one particular developer is doing the project by using that RAD model. He is involved in that particular project, which is implemented using this RAD model. Means they have to be committed. He should be committed for that particular project only. He can work on that project full fledged. Okay, he should not be committed with that another project, and so he is committed to complete that whole project within this 60 to 90 days of time span, or whatever the time span is allocated for that particular project. So he should work full fledged. He should give his time to that particular project only. He should be dedicated. If commitment is lacking, then we can say that RAD project or the RAD model will fail. Okay, so that's why we can say that the RAD model requires the developers and customers who are heavily committed. After that, the next is all application is not compatible with this RAD model. So if system cannot be properly modularized like this way, whatever the requirements are there or whatever the features are going to be delivered in this particular project, if it is not properly modularized amongst the team, and if we are unable to build the components that are necessary for this RAD model, then it will be problematic scenario. So we can say that all types of applications are not appropriate. We cannot modularize. It may possible that we can and we cannot modularize each and every application in this particular methodology, using this particular methodology. After that, it requires highly skilled designers. Okay, obviously, to incorporate all with this methodology. Then RAD is not appropriate when technical risks are high. So that means that when some new application makes, if new application is going to use new technology or new software, so obviously that new technology is going to require some expertise, some skilled persons. Okay, and it should have all the knowledge required to implement the project using that new functionality, new technology. And it may lead that if you don't have such resources, then it may lead to the high technical risk. So it is not suitable for that also, to use with or to cope up with these new technologies. Because if we are going to implement the software using the new technology, then that software should also have some compatibility or interoperability with the existing software also. Okay, so that should be also maintained. And if we are unable to maintain all those things, so we can say that this RAD model is going to fail for our project. So we can say that overall that this RAD is an incremental model. As we have seen that incremental model also, that we are going to deliver some functionality, but here we have this particular time span. So it is one kind of incremental software development process model, which emphasizes on this extremely short development cycle. But also at the same time, it is a high-speed adoption of your linear sequential model, because in each and every team is going to follow this SDLC thing, and this rapid development is achieved using this here modularized functionality, like using the component-based construction. And if your requirements are well understood and your project scope is constrained, then you can say that this RAD process enables a development team to create a full-fledged, full functional system. It is able to develop this full-fledged functionality system within a short time span, within a concise time period. So we can say that we can use this. The first thing is when we are going to deliver our project within this time span, we can use this RAD model. Also, if the project is able to modularize into different functionalities, into different features that all the teams can work upon it, we can use that RAD model. When the requirements are well known to us in that case also we can use this RAD model. When the technical risk is limited, then also we can use this model. And again, technical risk is limited, at the same time we have some expertise, or as I told you that this application generation in this RAD model, this application generation phase is going to use some automated tools, and if we have expertise using that, or who has knowledge of that automated tools, automated code generating tools, then also we can go for this RAD model. And this in this RAD model is also the changes are accepted. Okay, that it can adapt the changes, and it is flexible for change, because whenever the change is there, see, it can we can this RAD model is able to incorporate all those changes if it is coming midway. So we can incorporate that changes, because after all this team's development is done, we are going to integrate it, and also we are going to test this. Okay, so once everything is done full-fledgedly, then and only then we are going to deliver. And so that we can say that the functionalities are delivered to the customers, and the whole software is delivered to the customer, but it is tested very well. And here we can say that the main thing is the development time is reduced compared to other models. So that's all about this RAD model. Is it clear? Yeah. Can we move to Agile? The next one is the Agile model. So first of all, what is the use of this? What is the meaning of this Agile? What is that term is? So basically, this Agile is swift or versatile. It is fast. It is versatile in nature. First of all, why we require all these models? Why we require such model or any kind of model to develop our process? Is it possible to develop any model, develop any project without using any model? Can we do that? See, we can do that, but it would not give us that quality software at the end. Okay, because using any model, it would provide you some kinds of features like stability, then maintainability, reliability, then you can have the control and organized software at the end. Otherwise, if you are not going to develop your software or your project without any model, if you are going to develop, then if it is uncontrollable at some point, then you can say that the process of that development is going to be chaotic, and at the end the software may fail. Okay, somehow. So we are going to use this process model, software development process model, to manage all these things. And in a modern software engineering approach, this agile software is very much popular. It is in demand because of its activities, its controls, work products that are because all those things which are used in this agile model that are appropriate for the projects and project team and the product what you are going to develop, and that's why it has become popular because of its flexibility, adaptability that we are going to see. So this agile is nothing but to describe that your software development will have some approach that has continuous planning, learning, improvement, team collaboration, development, early delivery, all those things. And it is very much going to, this particular development will enhance your project, will do early delivery and fast delivery of your project. Also, it encourages, this particular agile model is encourages flexible responses to change. This is the main aim, you can say, or main feature of this agile model, that it is able to facilitate the change requirements from the customer, and it can incorporate all those requirements efficiently into your project. Okay, so how this agility is achieved in this particular model? So fitting the process to the project and avoidance of the things that waste time. So what is that? See, with this particular agile model believes that every project needs to be handled differently, and the existing methods need to be eliminated to best suit the project requirements. It is not like that whatever the procedure I have followed for the previous project, I am going to have the same for my next new project. Every project needs to be handled differently, and whatever the requirements that are not necessary for a specific project, we can eliminate those requirements. Okay, and all those things that are wasting time for a particular project, that is should be avoided. Like what things that waste time? Like we know that in waterfall model we spend more time on documentation. Okay, because waterfall model is like, first of all, we should have all those requirements, otherwise if we get new requirement in between the process, we are not going to incorporate, or we are not going to accommodate those requirements into our model. So we spend a lot of time on documenting those requirements, and sometimes it may possible that those documentation is not useful, and it is not going to use by any other people. So that is just a waste of time. So here in this agile model, it produces very less documentation. It focuses on very less documentation. It just try to eliminate those thing of documentation. Okay. After that, so this is all the reasons that can enhance your product, that can achieve fast delivery and its versatility of your product. It can enhance all those things. After that, the agile manifesto, the core values on which this agile model is focusing on, it emphasizes on. So there are basically 4 things. You can see this core values on this particular agile manifesto website. On that website, you can see this core values as well as its principle, the core principle on which this agile methodology is working, and what the principle that should be followed while using this particular agile model. So we'll see the core values or the manifesto. The first one is the individual and interactions over processes and tools. What does that mean is that process and tools will vary project by project. So it is very less responsive to that particular thing, but it focuses more on individuals and interaction. In this particular agile development, the self-organization, self-motivation, or the motivation for the whole team is important. Okay, as we are going to focus more on interactions. If your one team is working on some another location, on some A location, and another team is working on B location B, then you need to cope up with that, you need to maintain proper interactions between those teams, individual, like maintain the co-location and pair programming, all those things. So they are these process tools that vary in their nature, and they are less responsive to change and customer needs. So this agile model is focusing on individual and interaction. Then working software over comprehensive documentation. This means that here in this agile model, the demo working software is mainly focused thing. It is considered, the demo working software is mainly considered the best means of communication with the customers to understand their requirements instead of just depending on the documentation. Here the agile model is going to focus on demo working software that will see in its life cycle that the demo is given to demo. If your one cycle is completed, if your one sprint is completed, after that whatever the feature you have developed, that you have to represent, that you have to give its demo to the customer, and whatever the feedback is received or whatever the reviews are received, that is going to incorporate in your next cycle. Okay, but here the working software demo is given at the end of each cycle. So it is focusing on more working demo software instead of focusing on this documentation thing. Okay, it is trying to eliminate those documentation thing. After that, customer collaboration over contract negotiation. So here, as we know that the requirements cannot be gathered. If you are working with a large project, all those requirements cannot be gathered completely in the beginning of the project due to like various factors. That continuous customer interaction is very important to get proper product requirements. So here the customer collaboration is needed very much, because we need to have constant touch with this customer, because to gather the requirements, also when we are going to deliver our project demos to the customers. So in all of those things, agile includes the customer throughout the software development process, throughout the life cycle of a project, and also it focuses on the feedbacks and reviews which we collected from the customers. After that, responding to change over following a plan. So as I told you that the main focus area of this agile development methodology is that it is flexible to respond to a change. Okay, so whenever the change is there, we can incorporate into our project software development life cycle, and we'll continue with that into our next development life cycle. So as we know that this, as I told you, that agile sorry for the inconvenience. So this agile works in short iterations called sprints, because their focuses on this utilizing the change whenever it happens. Okay, are you getting me? Okay, yeah. So this agile development methodology is one of the, you can say, the simplest and effective processes, and it has the vision to better solve the requirements of customer and to better fulfill the business need by providing a better solutions. Okay, so this agile process model basically refers to a software development approach which is based on the iterative development. Okay, see here this agile methodology basically focuses or it promotes the continuous iteration of development and testing throughout the software development life cycle of your project. This development and this testing activities are concurrent, like it is not like that waterfall model, they are going side by side. So what is the main procedure of this agile methodology is that it breaks your project into a small incremental builds, or you can say small incremental task. And this uh, your project is going to be broken into a small incremental builds. This build is nothing but you can say that whenever you are going to develop a project or a feature, you need to first check it on a dev environment, that is your developer environment. Then you are going to test it on your QA environment, testing environment. After that, QA is going to approve your project. Then you need to have to final build it. I think whenever you go into any company and you go through this process, then you will better idea what I'm trying to explain you, what is meaning of this build. Okay, so after all those QA people have approved your feature, say for example, after that your business analyst or whatever the business person is there, who is continuously in touch with the customer, with your client. So next they are going to check your feature. If they have also approved, the next thing is we are going to build our final feature, okay, on that customer for the customer environment. So it is just that this agile methodology is whenever this project is built using this agile methodology, we are going to break this project into a small different tasks, a small and all these tasks are nothing but they are divided into a small iterations, okay, small parts. And this small iteration is not going to have a long-term planning. It is done in order this particular iteration thing is done in order to deliver a specific feature or a specific release at the end of each cycle. And this whole iteration is one kind of short-term planning, okay, short time frame in the agile process model. And it is basically lasting from 1 to 4 weeks. It may possible that your sprint is nothing but one kind of cycle in this agile methodology. So it may possible that your one cycle is of 15 days, it is of 4 weeks, one month, okay. So it is based on your project, or you can say it is decided by whatever the business person is there, stakeholders are there. So they will decide that उनको एक feature कब चाहिए, right? After 15 weeks, after 15 days, after 1 month. So that's how this sprint cycle is decided. So you can say that the main central principle of this agile methodology is to deliver an increment and release feature or whatever the thing is that to the customer after each time box, after each specific time span. Clear? We'll see this methodology in the next lecture. Did you understand whatever we have covered today? Okay, that's good. So this is what I'm talking about, this Agile Manifesto site, that it is having its core values. its manifesto. Is my screen visible to you? Yeah. So this is the their website. They are providing the manifesto core values. After that, there are principles on which this agile methodology is based on. The principles that they focused. So this is nothing but some kind of information you can go through from this website.